What? Oh. Oh. That was a bit of a... Very responsive. That was a bit of a rough ride in the old boom tube there this week. Well, once again, from a secret, undisclosed location, hidden somewhere deep within the bowels of historic downtown St. John's, Newfoundland, the most easterly point in North America, comes a fascinating show we'd like to call In the Library of Graphic Literature, with your host, me, Wallace Ryan. Let's stop for some tea first of all. Okay, let's get right down to work here. I already started to shoot this video once and the power went on the battery. It just goes to show you should charge your batteries, or at least check out where you are on your camera in terms of your battery power. Anyway, the first this week, now a Netflix original series, The End of the blah 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 world. It actually has the actual swear word on the side of it. This is a, and it looks pretty interesting actually. It's a black and white book, just plain, plain, sort of a plain style to it. But you know, this is sometimes what storytelling looks like in terms of comics. But I'm going to give it a bit of a read anyway, see what it's like, and I'll get back to you. I'll binge read it. Yes, very droll. Next up, from the pages of Fables, comes Jack of Fables. This is the obviously spin-off from Fables, one of my favorite series, which I'm still in the middle of reading. I just recently finished collecting the entire set, getting the last volume. Well, I guess it was a few months ago was when that happened, and I do actually plan to read the whole thing from start to finish. This, like Fables, it's very plain and all that, but I kind of like that. Sort of like sometimes I do like a sort of plain, story-driven type of artwork. I know it's not what some superhero folks like, but you know, for the rest of us out there, us lovers of graphic literature, usually Bill's pretty good on the writing, so I'm looking forward to reading that one. And let's see what else. Oh, this is one that arrived actually a little bit late for me. It is Walt Disney's Mickey Mouse, The Mysterious Dr. X by Floyd Gottfredson. This is volume 12, which, according to my sources, that being Sam Johnson, local cartoonist, that this is the last volume in the Mickey Mouse set. Which is good, because now, same with the Fables too, is usually when I complete a set, I'll sit down and I will actually binge read the entire set then. And I've been looking forward to this, because I actually did read the first, oh god, about the first half volume and all that. And I loved it. It was great, great pacing, you know, it was very madcap type of stuff, the earlier stuff anyway. This seems to be a lot more story oriented from what I can see here. It's like Mickey grew up a bit, I guess, in the comic strips. But anyway, I've loved what I've read so far, so looking forward to that too. We're zipping quite quickly along here this week. Well, let's slow down the pace a bit. Have some tea and then get back to it. Okay, coming from Dark Horse, the fine folks at Dark Horse, who, by the way, big announcement is that they will be finishing off the Warren, or the Creepy and Airy archives, it looks like. I noticed today, of course, officially when I looked today at the previews, I seen them soliciting for one of them, so it was just like, oh, thank God. So thank you, Dark Horse. You listen to your readers. It's too bad some other companies don't do that, eh? Anyway, so from Dark Horse this week, we have Neil Gaiman's American Gods. Now this one I actually have read in novel form, in prose. It's probably the only prose book I think I've read in years, come to think of it. Ironically, and of course when I seen this series, I of course had to get it. I'm a huge fan, of course, of P. Craig Russell. I don't know if Craig knows that, but I am. And of Neil, of course. And Scott Hampton, too. Actually, I always liked his stuff. So it's an interesting style. Like I say, you can really see Craig's stuff here, but then you see a bit this painted style sort of comes into effect there, and it's a neat mixture. And the type of novel it is, I think this type of approach actually does work very well for it. So I'm not sure how many of you out there are Neil Gaiman fans like me. If you hear this, Neil, I love you. In a writerly, artistly, appreciator type of way. And if I ever meet you, I will give you an actual hug. Just for all the fun things you've brought to me over the years. All the enjoyment. All the great words. Oh, some cool backs. I always love, of course, the extras. Extras are wonderful. Now, so, let's move right along here now to, Terry Moore, Motor Girl. Motor. So this is the Motor Girl Omnibus. Now, it's not what some would consider an omnibus, I guess. It's not huge or whatever, but you know, you don't need a lot, especially if it's quality, which of course Terry Moore always is. Here I am kissing my books again. Don't really kiss them because that would get liquid on them, which would ruin them, and of course that would drive me insane. But okay, oh yeah, oh I love his artwork. I haven't read this, folks, but it's once again one of these books that I can buy sight unseen, and I'm not going to worry about it because everything I've ever read by Terry Moore I have absolutely loved. So, and I can't recommend Terry Moore high enough. I loved Rachel Rising, absolutely incredible, and Strangers in Paradise. You know, some of the classics out there. I never did finish off the Strangers in Paradise. I'm hoping eventually that they will release a hardcover Strangers in Paradise again, just so I can have it in hardcover. But yeah, check it out, Motor Girl, from of course Abstract Studios. Great to see sort of an independent voice still out there. Oh, okay, second to last. Here we go now. Oh, let's pause for a cup of tea here again. Not a cup, but a sip. A little sip. Okay, here we have Frank Robbins' Johnny Hazzard. Now, Frank Robbins, I love his earlier stuff. His later stuff, not so much, but this stuff I like a lot. And actually, the reproduction isn't too bad, from what I can see here so far. Just looking over it. But Robbins in his early years really was very much from the Kniff Sickle school of Toth school of drawing. So once again, his simplicity is the type of thing that sort of brings me to him. Great shadow work though, very very good shadow work. Love him, love him. So yeah, check it out, Johnny Hazzard. love Johnny Hazzard. Love everything that I read. Well, that's not true. As a matter of fact, someone even mentioned that to me one time. They say, geez, he seems to like everything that he has on the show. And it's deceptive, though, is what it is. I only bring books onto the show that I have either bought or I'm in the process of buying. So all the books that I do on the show are books, like I say, that I will actually purchase myself. So they're books I like. I will not usually buy books I don't like. Same with on the Library of Graphic Literature Facebook page. Have the same sort of philosophy where we talk about the books that we like. None of us talk about the books we hate, because we could do that and we could go on for hours and then get into arguments and stuff like that. But I love the idea of sitting around talking about what you like, because then you get a lot more great recommendations from other people, because they're talking about all the stuff they really like. So if it seems that I really like everything that I'm previewing or showing on this show, it's because, well, I do. So it's usually, if it appears on this show, for it's of good quality. I won't bring anything, you know, that I don't like onto it. So if you happen to notice that I'm not covering certain things, or I don't talk about certain artists, it's usually because I don't like them and I'm being polite. Which, for those who know me, sometimes can be very hard, because I have a big mouth and it shoots itself off sometimes. Now, let us end off this evening's broadcast here with a real piece of my childhood, I have to say. When I was growing up, of course, I was an artist all my life, and I was into comics since the age of 3. I can remember reading comics as a young child. As a matter of fact, it's what helped me learn how to read, so by the time I got into school, I could actually read and write. But I stayed at it for years, and in my teen years, I was lucky enough to have a fellow artist to draw with, my friend the late Jerry Porter, and I'd met him at an art class over one summer, and he was the only other one in the class who was into comics, so we became fast friends, and we did comics together, and it was great. But then in '77 along came heavy metal, and it changed our wee little lives, I gotta say. Because at the time I was 16, he was 15. We were used to the standard fare, but the most exotic thing we got back then, really, well, I guess we had Eerie and Creepy and Vampirella, and Howard the Duck was about the most, sort of the wildest thing going on that I can think of at the time. But then along came heavy metal, with its casual nudity, a little bit of swearing, but the stories, oh Lord, the stories. What stories they told. And I fell in love with just about every artist in the first few years of heavy metal. I stopped collecting after '84, kind of, sort of. I'll talk more about that in another broadcast. But I of course loved Mobius, Bilal, all sorts of people. But one of the ones that for some reason I really fell in love with was Philip Druillet, and this comic in particular I can remember reading, Lone Sloane, Gail. Druillet, there was just something about his work. I guess it was just the insane detail he used to do, and this is the other thing, folks. By the way, don't be deceived by this. When you look at this, you might be thinking, "Oh, look at that! That's sort of some neat Photoshop work or Illustrator work." But no, this is hand drawn. Have a look at this. This is back in the days when mad detail was done by hand. Rulers, compasses, ink, brushes. I mean, this is it, right? And then inside, let's go inside here. Inside, it's just totally around the bend. I loved very weird stories, and you know, I mean, come on, folks. How can you not love this? So as a kid, or not as a kid, there we go. As a teenager, and as a budding comic book artist, I went absolutely around the bend when I first seen this. It was these were comics unlike anything I'd seen. I'd never seen, you know, even though I love my Jim Starlin and all the other ones, I'd never seen artists quite like Mobius, Druillet, Bilal, and the others that came to us through the pages of heavy metal. Even in my the comic that myself and Jerry did, Zeitgeist, there's very much Druillet influence on a lot of the borders and stuff like that. Still to this day, even when I looked over this today, when it first arrived, it brought me right back to the 70s, and that absolutely amazing. And I can remember getting this in a soft cover at a classics bookstore years later. That probably dates me. Very cool. Oh, and there's some of the other ones. But yeah, Druillet, there's just something so magical about his stuff. I mean, that detail, and I mean, being an artist myself, looking at it, you know, I know what he went through to do all this, and it was just, and even myself, when I imitated some of this myself in some of my own stuff, it's not that easy to do. So you know, it was like, wow, this man can really draw, and just the stuff he drew, to, like I say, to us growing up on Marvel and DC and all this just twisted our little minds. So thank you, Philip. And that's it, actually, for this week, it looks like. You know, usually I like to have a few things here to wax eloquent about, but I guess that's enough for this week. I'm a little bit tired anyway. And I'm going to take it easy and then have a snack, get another cup of tea, and maybe watch a bit of TV, Jeopardy, and then off to bed for me. And then another day in the comic book world for me tomorrow. So, that being said, once again, keep those cards and letters coming. Send me some cards and letters if you want. Please feel free to comment. I usually will try to respond to every single comment people make. So please feel free to make comments. Oh, and of course, this is March 1st, which is my grandson Cole's birthday. Happy birthday, Cole. And hi to Sophia, my biggest fan. She loves it when I say that. And she always asks me if people have asked about her or whatever, the mysterious Sophia I keep mentioning in my postscripts in the thing. So so feel free, like I say, to say hi. That being said, next week it's going to be one heck of a week, because next week is the Infinity book set, the Infinity Gauntlet, and its attendant books all in one big case. Bloody expensive too, but it just looks so beautiful. I just couldn't resist it. So we'll be looking at that, and I do believe the Commandy Omnibus is next week too. So, which I know I have it there, and you're looking at it over my shoulder and saying, what a geek, but yes, I do have to get it. That being said, I think I'll just let Mother Bucks take us out for another week. No, we want a boom too. Once again, keep those comments coming. Love you all.